Episode 5, November 23rd, 2010. Howard and Kevin, open your mail. Yo, MC Howard on the mic, live from the booth, telling the truth, picking it up, and laying it down. And I'm here with DJ Kevin, spinning the wax, scratching the tracks, and laying down the facts.
Wow.
Yes.
That is an intro.
Thank you.
Is this 1986?
It is in my head,
time
baby.
traveling back to a time when rappers talked like that? Because now it's all about the bling, you know.
You are, is that really right?
Oh yeah, like you should have talked about all your bitches and hoes that you got, you know, in your SUV.
I prefer the old days where things are nice. And
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince
Yes,
talked about
exactly.
parents just don't understand, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think rap was better back then.
Yes, I agree with you, DJ Kevin.
Because I know so much about rap, being a white man from the suburbs. Anyway, how's it going?
Fine, thank you.
Good. It's lovely to see you, Howard.
Sergeant.
Yes.
All right, well, welcome to Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
We're back.
We are back!
Episode something or other.
That's right.
I
Check
can't keep track, but it's
five-ish.
five-ish Finkel. Yes, five-ish.
Thank you for tuning in, folks. Nice to have you here. Check us out at www.howardandkevin.com. Go there and send us mail at howardandkevin.com. And then we're going to read it
on this show.
You see, this is how it works. It's Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
Oh, it's brilliant. What a concept.
I'm telling you.
So, I guess we should just get to
You know what's good about it? We don't have to think of topics.
Yeah, that's the best thing. I think that's why we came up with this. Is that we just don't have to come up with
Let the people
anything.
think of topics. Maybe I'm blowing our secret.
Oh, damn you, Howard. Erase. Okay. Well, do you want to get to it?
Well, I suppose that's the whole idea. Let's
Read some mail.
Kevin, why don't you lay down the facts as I advertised? You can turn this mother out.
I love to turn mothers out.
That's kind of a funk saying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean that's more like that's more like funk in the 70s kind of thing. But
Right, I'm mixing it up.
Yeah.
I think it all flows funk into rap. All right, Kevin, tear the roof off the sucker.
All right, here we go.
Get down with your bad self.
Letter number 1. Dear Howard and Kevin, I was just wondering, do you guys have any hobbies/pastimes other than creeping into people's yards and opening their mail? That's a funny question. That's from Griffin in Toronto.
So he has picked up on our habit of sneaking into people's yards and opening their mail.
Yeah, which I think I'm surprised no one's brought it up so far. You know, either the general public or the police.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Hobbies and pastimes. Good question. Well,
I have none.
You have no hobbies?
No, when I'm not doing the show, I'm sitting alone in a plain white room,
One of those
staring at the wall, doing nothing.
One of those, what do you call them? One of those things they used to have back in the 70s, where like a sensory deprivation.
Oh yeah.
tank.
I think Michael Jackson slept in one of those. Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah.
So you basically only exist for the half hour or so every week or two when this show is on.
Well, do I exist, Howard, or am I just in your mind?
Or maybe, oh yeah, that's true. Or maybe you're a computer program that I wrote.
It could be,
because I have no friends and I couldn't get anyone to do the show.
I may break down at any moment. No, I'm real. Actually, do I have any hobbies? That's a good question, Griffin.
Well, it depends what you call a hobby. I mean, you watch a lot of movies, and
yeah, but everybody does that. That's not a real hobby.
I guess it isn't really. I like to play softball.
That's true. You do
Is that a hobby/pastime?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, baseball's the national pastime.
If it were true, yeah.
I think that's a pastime for sure.
We've been doing that on a team of friends for many, many years.
Yeah, that's good. Just good fun. Exercise?
Yes.
Yep.
Fresh air.
Yep.
Sunshine.
That's the kind of hobby you do want, because that probably doesn't really get in the way of your marriage and stuff. Whereas if you get an insane collection that you're spending millions of dollars on,
Ooh, yeah.
that can really hurt a relationship. Softball's great. You get exercise. You get to hang out with friends. It's like we fully recommend softball to anyone out there listening.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we challenge you.
Send us a letter if you join a softball team based on our recommendation.
That's right, and then we'll play against you. Or maybe recruit you.
Yeah, because our team just has the two of us right now, so we need more.
Kevin's the scorekeeper, and I play every other position.
Yes.
Now, hobbies. Sometimes people, the sort of cliche thing about hobbies is like, yes, I like to whittle small animals out of pieces of wood in my back 40.
So another one of your hilarious characters come through again.
It's my whittling guy. I should like to put a little whistle in there. I like to whittle in my back 40. Oh, I need to.
Oh, yeah.
One of those. I like to. All right, I'll work on that character and get back to you.
That's going to be the breakout character of our series, I think.
A spin-off.
Yeah, spin-off, exactly.
The whittling guy.
He's great.
So I don't really have that kind of a hobby.
Mm.
Like I don't crochet. I don't collect stamps.
I collected stamps when I was a kid, but then I grew out of that.
Hey.
I think once I realized that it's really not going to get me a lot of checks. I mean,
did you just lick them all and put them on envelopes and just send them
Yeah,
out?
we did. Yeah, I lost.
That's how you ended the hobby, was mailing them all off somewhere?
Yeah, I lost $13,000 on that hobby.
And now all those envelopes you mailed off to various corners of the world are all coming back to us now as letters in this show.
They are.
Everything you ever did in your life, it comes back to this show.
It does, actually.
That's why
That's a good point.
So what else? Collecting coins.
Yeah, I never did that. No.
What else do I do? What's a hobby?
I know you. I know. I don't think many people would know this about Howard, but he has a lot of what I would term grandma kind of hobbies. In that, he does some canning of some fruit.
Yes.
He does some making of. You make a lot of soup. You do some I think
I have made jam.
Jam, yes.
I have made applesauce quite recently, as a matter of fact. And yes, I would say I enjoy canning
with your friends from the Rotary
It's
Club.
uncanny. The funny thing is that it used to be that I thought it would these things like making canned peaches or something would be this great sort of community effort.
Yeah.
And now I'm basically doing it by myself. I can't get anyone to help me anymore. It's like, here I am peeling peaches and,
Dad, we don't want to cut up a bunch of stuff for 3 hours and put it in a can.
Grinding apples down. Fine. But I'll be the one eating it.
Yeah, does anyone else get to enjoy your canned stuff?
Yes.
Oh, they do?
I'm generous that way.
I see. All right.
That's true. That's a hobby.
Yeah.
I guess, in a way.
Yeah, I think it is.
If I really collected them, though. I just make them and I collect them. I got a jar of blueberry preserves here from 1982.
It's another one of your hilarious characters.
Yes. So, but yeah, you think I'm becoming a granny? That's what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying some of your interests are kind of granny-esque. I'm not saying necessarily that you are a grandmother.
I often drink a cup of tea while I am doing the preserves.
Do you?
Yes.
But you haven't done any crocheting or knitting yet.
No, but I did make a quilt.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
I think you did. Everyone.
I went to a quilting bee. And
I don't even have that. I think I used to play softball. I don't anymore because I got injured.
But you're still part of the team.
Yeah.
But you collect things.
Yeah, I do. I collect movie memorabilia and stuff on a really small scale. Like, I'm not going on eBay and spending, $3,000 for Han Solo's blaster from, Empire Strikes Back. So I'm not doing anything like that.
You used to collect, figures and stuff.
Yeah. As one of my friends calls them, figurines. And that's incorrect. They're action figures. You got to get it right.
Figurines are like little Royal Dalton
China. They've got Hummel, the cute little rabbits and stuff. No, but yeah, no, I did collect those.
And don't you wouldn't you say that you actually collect movies? Like you like to have a lot
I guess so, yeah. But it's so passé now because it's all it's all digital now.
Right. But I always find it funny. Like I know a couple of people who seem to be more interested in having the collection than enjoying it. It's like they own 5,000 movies, but have only ever watched 300 of them. Yeah. Right? But they're there if they should ever need them. You know, I always imagine the day that, you know, some attractive woman will walk in and say, "You don't happen to have, you know, Rollerball, do you?" Why, I do. Well,
I have the awful remake of Rollerball, but they don't have the original. Sorry. Really? And she just leaves.
And she's gone. That's right. No, you have to have them all.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I mean that is kind of the essence of collecting. We don't need any of these things, but we just collect them because, I don't know, they look good on it's more the hunt. You know what I mean? Like my friend is a monster Star Wars collector, right? He's got an entire room in his house full of Star Wars toys. And it's a lot of fun. I collect some Star Wars stuff myself, and but I think that the joy in it is the hunt of getting the stuff. You know what I mean? It's like knowing that there's a certain amount of things in the world, and you have to get them, and you're not going to be satisfied until you get them all.
What's the entire world? So does he have like a museum of Star Wars toys? Like, kind of. Does he invite people over, sell tickets, and
I mean, it's like a combo museum / like little diorama world. Which is, you know, that's his hobby, right? It's a legitimate, it's something he does after work. It relaxes him. It's, you know, relieves stress.
Wow.
And, you know, I think a lot of people do that. It's just with different things. Star Wars stuff is particularly nerdy, you know, whereas other guys would, you know, go fishing or something, I guess.
I'm going to start building model ships inside bottles. That's a good one. I always wondered how to get that in there.
That's a great oldie-fashioned. I think your grandma might do that, too.
It would go well with my granny.
I think so.
Although that's more of the grandpa.
That's true.
That's what grandpa's doing in the other room while granny's making the preserves. Well, there you go. Wow. Hobbies and pastimes. I'm sure that there's more, but it's an interesting subject. Thank you, Griffin from Toronto. Good letter. Okay, so shall we move on?
Sure. What do you got?
All right, I have another letter. Dear Howard and Kevin.
That's us.
What do you guys look like? Signed JM from Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
JM. I like that. Sounds like some executive, you know. Hi, JM. How you doing, JM? Come on in, JM. Yeah. Your coffee's ready, JM.
What's the news, JM? Tell us. Yeah. That's a fair question. What do we look like? I mean, you can't tell, of course, from...
well, here's the question. Do we, at the moment, maybe, if for the people listening out there who don't happen to know us personally, which I don't know if there are anyone out there, but in theory, if there's anyone out there who doesn't know us personally, we're mysterious. All we are is voices. And you know what's interesting is, like, have you ever had that thing, I'm sure you have, where, like, let's say there's a guy on the radio who you listen to regularly. Right. And so you just sort of imagine a face, right? After a while, you just sort of have this vision of them in your head.
Yeah.
And then when you really do see them for real, it's kind of like, that's not what I thought he was going to look like.
No, it's true.
Like somehow this voice, makes him seem like he's going to be tall. And this kind of voice makes him seem like he's going to have a round face. I don't know.
Yes. I find that most, I've noticed a couple of times, especially with women on the radio, is you get a certain image in your head, because they've got a sultry kind of deep voice. It's a great radio voice. And then you'll see them at a personal appearance and they look nothing like what you thought they were. They're like 55, chain smoking, with really bad bleach blonde hair, that kind of thing. And not that that's a bad thing, but but you just had a different vision in your head, so yeah, I don't know. Will it ruin the illusion of
because I figured people assume that you look a bit like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I would assume from my voice that people would think I'm a really hunky, super cute dude.
Right, and I'm kind of more in the Cary Grant mold.
For the three people out there who know what Cary Grant looks like anymore,
you mean my granny friends? Well,
your granny friends.
the other ladies on my quilting bee.
Yes.
Okay, well, do we actually want to describe yourself?
No, I think that ruins the illusion of this show.
All right, well, let's just say all you need to know is that we are presentable.
What is that?
We are.
That's so vague.
Yeah, we are well groomed.
Well, okay, that's true.
We are comely.
Yes. We're both East Indian. We both
Where'd
have
that come from?
we both have disgusting, terrible scars on our face.
No, I was saying the opposite of that.
Oh, I see.
We're very you know, welcoming looking.
No one's ever said that in the history of mankind. I don't even know what that means. We're welcoming looking?
Yes, our faces say, "Please come and meet me. I'm here to know you."
I don't know what that even looks like. That's really weird.
I am tall and short.
Both tall and short.
I am every man.
That'd be like a tall midget. Because in the realm of... Oh, wait, it's probably not called midgets anymore. I don't want to offend anyone out there who might be a
little person.
Is that what that seems much worse than midget, frankly.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. I think if that's properly what I'm supposed to call them, then that's much worse than midget.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's just not talk about it. But in the world of people who are shorter than other people, if you have a tall one, then they would both be tall and short.
Mm.
That's weird.
Are we, is that what we're trying to tell people?
Yeah, we're both midgets.
I was trying to get at the idea that we are every man.
I see, okay.
We are, we are everything. We are everyone.
Yeah.
We are every woman.
It's all
I'm every woman. Oh, great. Now we got to pay for that. All right. That's what we look like.
Wow. All right.
Listen carefully to our voices and picture something.
Yeah, just imagine what two guys who have a podcast look like, and that's what we look like.
Well, they're going to imagine two guys who've never come out of the basement. They're all pasty and white.
Pasty, white.
Haven't had a haircut in 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. It's getting closer to the truth.
Don't know how to speak to other people in public.
Well, I certainly don't. If you can tell anything from this podcast, you can tell I can't speak at all. Okay, I have another letter. You want to...
Yeah, sure. Moving on.
All right. Dear Howard and Kevin, I've just made a list of the items in my dining room. I have the following. 2 mismatched lamps. 1 pumpkin with hairy-type vine.
Pumpkin?
I think it says pumpkin, yeah. She has a pumpkin in her dining room.
All right.
This must have been sent around Halloween.
I guess.
1 jester costume, blue and red with bells. She's got 2 fly or trout fishing rods, 1 remote-controlled dragonfly, 1 Rubik's Cube, 1 1905 wooden high chair, walnut, with turned legs, 1 box of 65 pairs of clip-on earrings, circa 1955, which was a gift, apparently, 1 papier-mâché dragon totem piece, blue and green, 2 bags of stuffies, assorted sizes. Stuffies?
Yeah, that's like stuffed animals, little kids,
Oh, okay.
Teddy bears and bunnies and
All right.
stuff like that.
Apparently stuffies is a new word I'm not familiar with. 1 chomper head, life-size.
1 what? Chomper head?
A chomper head. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Any ideas? Send us a letter if you know what a chomper head is. 1 trumpet and 2 violins. Violins.
Violins?
That's how you pronounce that word, right? Violins.
Violins.
Christmas is coming. Should I be concerned? Yours, Robin in Toronto. So I think what she's getting at is that she's got all this stuff in her dining room, and now Christmas is coming. It's going to be even more stuff. Christmas trees, gifts, all that kind of stuff. So,
wow.
Should she be concerned? I think she should be concerned.
This is quite a list.
It is quite a list. I think she needs to do some sort of call. I think she needs to... Yeah, like a call of stuff.
Like hunters have to fly through her dining room in a helicopter with sniper rifles,
calling the herd of crap she has in her dining room,
and shoot some of these dragonfly remote controls.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to comment on that because I'm a bit of a hoarder myself.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have a tendency to see. My thing is that I have things. There are things that I have in my possession in my home that I have had forever.
Yeah.
That I have never looked at or never touched. But in my mind, I feel like one day it may come in handy, and then I will regret having gotten everything, anything. I don't know, a million things, stupid things. Like I might find an old bandana.
Okay.
And I think, well, anyone else would think this was garbage. But what if one day I want to go in costume to a party as a bandana-wearing guy? This will be handy to have. You never know. I might need that.
You might.
When I was in grade 3, I'm going back to in the story, ladies and gentlemen.
10 years.
we had a guy come in to talk to our class who was from like a paper company, Pulp and Paper, told us about Pulp and Paper and everything.
Okay.
Right? How do they make paper, cut down trees, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he brought in examples of the type of paper they made at this company, different colors and things like that. And everybody got handed this paper in the classroom, this little collection. And I remember every kid immediately taking out their pen and writing on them and drawing pictures and all that sort of stuff. But I didn't. And I thought, I'm going to wait until I think of the right use for them.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, you want to hear something?
Yes.
I still have them. I still have those pieces of paper upstairs in my drawer.
Wow.
Because I have not yet found the use. But the day will come.
Okay.
So from my point to Robin in Toronto here is I don't know. I feel like you can't get rid of stuff. You never know when you might need the remote control dragonfly or the Rubik's Cube.
It's not. Is it a Rubik's Cube or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was something connected to a Rubik's Cube. Like a Rubik's Cube stuffy.
So perhaps what she needs is some sort of organizational method to be able to prepare. I think
at
Christmas
the very
season.
least she should move some of the stuff out of the dining room and into another room, and then she'd have more room for Christmassy stuff.
One box of 65 pairs of clip-on earrings, circa 1955.
That's a little weird. Yeah.
Gift.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might be getting into the hoarder kind of realm at this point with that.
Now, somebody said somebody was at an antique show or something like that, I'm guessing here, bought this box of 65 pairs of 1955 clip-on earrings and said, I know who would love these.
Robin in Toronto.
Robin in Toronto. And
I guess so.
That's even imagine that, like just to even wear those
would
take months.
It would, yeah.
Just to wear one a day.
65 days at least.
Yeah, I don't know how you figured that out. You're a math genius. So what we're suggesting is that Robin finds some way to just reorganize her life.
I think there's some reorganization that needs to be done there.
A few little things might be able to go out.
Yeah.
A few things could be tidied away into some clear bins.
Yes. And see, I've recently done a...
Or you could skip Christmas.
That's true. Yeah, just do that. But I've recently got rid of a lot of stuff. And when you start to think about what you actually need in your life, you don't need much. Like, I've gotten rid of so much. Like, I'm downsizing. I'm going from, I lived in a slightly larger place, and I'm going into a much smaller kind of place, and had to get rid of, like, half my stuff. And I thought it was not hard to do at all. It was just basically get rid of, like, everything that you think you don't necessarily need on a daily basis. And that's a lot of stuff.
But what about those pieces of paper from when you were in grade 3?
Yeah.
What happens, Kevin, when somebody comes to you next week and says, hey, do you have any paper that's purple that's just this size? Because I could really use it. And I'm a girl and I'm attracted to you if you have that paper.
The likelihood of that happening doesn't seem really...
But it could happen.
It could happen. But yes, so you're right. I would be unprepared if that did actually happen. But I could just refer her to Staples.
You see, then she goes in the Staples guy and she live a happy life together. And you lose!
You should be on Hoarders. You should just be on that show.
I should be.
They'd be their toughest,
the opposing viewpoint.
Exactly.
On Hoarders.
Yeah,
I'll be the one who says, "No, keep it. Come on, just put it over there in a pile."
These people don't need help. They're fine. This is great. You should,
That's yes. I mean, it sounds like Robin has a family here by the looks of these items, and of course, kids never want to get rid of stuff. So you're going to have to talk to these kids about getting rid of the pumpkin with the hairy type vine.
Because we're assuming she has kids. Maybe
maybe she doesn't.
But if she has stuffies.
The fact that she's got stuffies and Rubik's Cubes, and, well, you never know, I guess. Jester costume, blue and red with bells.
You think that's her
Maybe she should put on the Jester costume.
Yeah, I wonder.
In order to get rid of some of this stuff, because that would be, that would be one less thing to worry about.
That's true. She has to dress as a jester all through Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dancing about. The little bells would match. Sort of thematically linked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's an interesting letter. I don't know if we've been any help to Robin, but we appreciate her letter just the same.
I'm not sure we're ever any help to anyone with their letters, but, we talk about them.
Hey, can I introduce a small, quick maybe what would be an occasional regular segment
No.
on the show?
Anyway, the next letter is from... No, yeah, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go right ahead.
Hurt my feelings.
What would you like?
What I want to do, Kevin,
Yes.
and listeners,
Yes.
is in having listened back to the shows we've done, as we do, just because you want to hear how it went, I've noticed that there's a few odds and ends in each episode that need a little bit of a follow-up.
Okay.
Things where we couldn't think of a thing, and it's like, what's the name of that thing again? We can't quite think of it, or that kind of stuff, where we just feel like, or we make a joke saying, we'll get back to you later on that. And
right.
then,
we never do.
And we don't. But now I want to.
Okay.
So,
are there going to be corrections too, like the correction section of the paper?
I would say, yeah. Corrections, follow-ups, little.
All right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Fill in the blanks, that kind of thing. You want to introduce the segment?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present Howard with what are you going to call it?
I don't know. What do you think? Follow-ups?
Sure. Howard's
following up with Howard.
Following up with Howard. All right.
Following Howard down the street.
I'm going to be doing that later because you owe me money.
You're weird.
No, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present Howard with follow-ups.
Why, thank you, Kevin. Okay, back to episode 1.
Oh, that was a good one.
Episode 1.
That was our premiere episode, if I recall.
And the debut, also. Yes. There was only one thing that I wanted to follow up from episode 1.
Okay.
We were talking about marching bands.
We were.
And we were talking about the xylophone-type instrument that they carry, sort of holding upright and playing at little metal xylophone thing. Yeah. And we couldn't think of what the hell that was called.
Right.
I'm telling you what it's called. Okay. Everybody at home is yelling into their thing right now.
Yes.
It's a glockenspiel.
Ah, the glockenspiel.
How did we not heard of that?
I don't know.
All right, glockenspiel.
Okay, that's good.
All right, there's a little gift to the people who actually listened to episode 1 and who have been racking their brains all along. I probably thought of it 8 seconds after we finished recording the show.
I know. That is
annoying. That was what it was. Yeah. Glockenspiel.
That happens to me all the time, though. I'll just be having a conversation with someone, and I'm desperate to remember what something is. And then the second I leave them, I think of it. Yeah. And then I'm kind of like, well, I can't call them on the phone and tell them now.
No.
It's stupid. But anyway, okay, that was follow-up number 1. What else you got?
Good. Okay, and that's all I have for episode 1. So episode 1, put a little check mark on that one.
That was a good episode. We didn't have a lot to follow up on.
No, we did okay.
Yeah.
Episode 2,
there
are a few odds and ends.
Okay.
We were talking about people whose names are a little unusual, spelled funny, and they always have to go back for the rest of their life. And I kept saying, there's one that I can think of, but I can't think of what it is, and I just can't put my finger on it.
Okay.
And I think I remembered it.
Yep.
So I met this woman recently. She's a woman who lives in my neighborhood, very nice lady, very interesting person. And when she introduced herself to me, I said, hi, I'm Howard. And she said, hi, my name's Jareen, as in tangerine.
Really?
And that's what she said. I didn't even have to say, I'm sorry, what was your name? I didn't quite get that. I didn't even have to say that. She just immediately came out with, hi, my name's Jareen, as in tangerine. And it made me feel sad for her because I thought, here's a woman who has just decided now that she needs to say that every time.
Yeah, exactly.
She's had that many people say to her, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
What was that? I didn't get that.
Jareen? Yeah.
So somehow she got stuck with this name that her parents thought was very clever, Jareen. And now the rest of her life has to go around saying, Jareen, as in tangerine.
Sometimes I just do it. I say, Kevin, like Schmevin. And they go, oh, yeah, okay, Schmevin.
I wonder if she likes tangerines. She probably hates them now. She probably
I imagine so.
Or, can't stand the thought of a tangerine.
Exactly.
Having to mention it
every
day
time she introduces herself. Yeah. That is a pain in the ass, isn't it?
So, Jareen, I hope you're listening. This episode is dedicated to you.
Do you think, like, based on what you know of this woman, do you think it's a cultural thing? Like, that her name is like... Because I don't think I've ever heard the name Jareen before.
No, I think no one has. That's probably why she has to mention it.
And is it because she's in this culture with a bunch of white people who are just named Bob and Jack and Dave?
No, I think it was just that it was a bit of a creative name on her parents' part.
Because
I think she comes from an English-speaking background. If that's
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I just thought
it's not like it's a familiar name in a different culture.
That's what I mean. Because that must be such a royal pain in the butt for people that come to this country with a name that's quite normal where they're from, but we're here. We have no idea, so we're constantly mispronouncing it and looking like idiots.
And sometimes you know people from cultures adopt, their so-called English name.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They go by Bobby or whatever.
Yeah.
Really, their name is something.
Well, I knew a kid. This is a little off topic, but I knew a kid in public school, whose name was Xerox.
No way.
I did. This is true, and I think basically his parents had come over from. I think he was Chinese. I think, and he. I think his parents came over. They wanted to give him a North American style name. So they chose, well, this is on all these machines everywhere. They named him Xerox.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was his real name. I'm not joking. He's probably out there. Xerox, if you hear this podcast, mail us, because I'd love to talk to you, because that is one of the most interesting names I've ever seen in my life.
That is interesting. I feel bad.
And there's no mistaking. Like, it's not like, the guy got named like, it's not like he got named Sears or something. It's like, well, yeah, Sears might be the name of somebody somewhere, Xerox, it's just that company.
Yeah, really. That's not... Oh, boy.
I know.
All right.
Anyway,
well,
anything else?
Out there for Jareen and Xerox.
Yes.
we raise our cups of tea to you.
Yes.
As we huddle under this quilt. So...
Just for the record, Howard and I are not huddled under a quilt right now. We don't do the show from Howard's bed. And we're nice and comfy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, Kevin, if I have my way.
Well, I would eventually get to the point where I'm just lying down at all times. So that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Just not with me.
No.
Okay. In episode 2, I referenced a quote,
Okay.
but I didn't know who had said it. And the quote was, "Sorry for the long letter. I didn't have time to write you a short one."
Right.
And we talked about how that was very profound.
Uh-huh.
And I said that I knew the person who told me that quote, but I didn't know where it came from originally.
Right.
So I looked it up.
Okay.
And it, in fact, 4 different famous people are credited with having something along the lines of this thing. One of them is a French writer from like 200 years ago or something called Blaise Pascal. One of them was Abraham Lincoln. One of them was...
Sorry, who's that?
One of them was George Bernard Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
And probably the most famous, in terms of what people talk about, is Mark Twain, who said... I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead.
Yeah.
Which I think is very clever. And so there you go. Mark Twain. That's the answer. That was the thing. Good. I said I didn't know who wrote it. There you go. So now we have the answer. And I very much like that saying. I'm going to start
quoting it
all
saying.
the time.
Yeah.
And here, as we go overtime on our podcast, perhaps it's
bound to happen.
Apropos.
Yes.
We also mentioned the phrase "brevity is the soul of wit."
True.
And although I knew this at the time, we didn't actually tell people that's from Hamlet. I'm sure everybody knows that. It's William Shakespeare from Hamlet. Brevity is the soul of wit. But
I certainly knew that. I actually didn't know that.
When we were talking about that quote, I said at the time, we're going to have to look it up in that something quotations. What the hell is that called again?
Wow.
It's Bartlett's quotations.
Bartlett's!
How do we not know that?
Yes.
All right, once again, Bartlett's quotations.
Named after the pear.
Yes. And the last follow-up for episode 2, and the last of my follow-ups today on this episode, was I talked about drinking B-52s.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't think of all the ingredients.
Oh, okay.
And then these little shooter drinks that have layers.
Yeah.
The bottom layer is Kahlua,
which
I think I knew.
Yeah.
The second layer is Bailey's.
Okay.
Which is, sort of dark brown, beige.
Yeah.
And then the top layer, which is the part I couldn't remember, Grand Marnier.
Oh.
Kind of an orangey flavor. So it's like chocolatey, creamy, and orangey.
That'd be really good.
That sounds good.
We should go. Let's go and have some right now.
We'll go have 9 of them and then do the next episode.
Make a hell of an episode.
So order a B-52. I think they're kind of a little old-fashioned now, but maybe we'll bring them back.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be like a retro thing. Everybody, it's like everybody sort of nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. Like after The Big Lebowski came out, everybody started drinking White Russians because in that movie Jeff Bridges drinks a lot of those. So we could do the same thing for B-52s.
There you go.
And maybe the B-52s will also get popular as a little side project.
The band.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they still out there?
I think they're still around, yeah.
I like them. They were good.
Yeah, they were good.
Anyway, okay, well, I guess we better wrap this up before somebody walks in here with a bat and beats us in the head.
Yeah,
you went over.
If we go over 35 minutes.
That's right. People who are listening live, which is impossible. No one can do that. But
this is our first live show.
In my imagination, there's somebody out there listening live. Well, folks, that's today's episode. We certainly appreciate you writing in your letters and listening, and we hope you continue to do so. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit us at HowardandKevin.com.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Go there. You can find the archive of all of our older episodes. For example, the ones I just referenced with the follow-ups. Maybe you didn't hear those. Maybe you'd like to hear them. Maybe you're like, that's interesting, B-52s. I'd be curious to know why they were talking about that. So check that out. We have show notes for each episode, and we have other odds and ends that you might enjoy. So check it out at HowardandKevin.com. And once again, thanks for listening to Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
And don't forget, everyone, on HowardandKevin.com, you too can send us a letter, which we might just read and answer on
Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.